Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. You are listening to the Daily Dose Sports Podcast, and I am your host, Clint Daly, coming to you from the Mile High City here in Denver, Colorado, and we are back for another week of talking sports with a dose of common sense. Hey, happy Wednesday to you. Hope your week is going well. I hope that you're getting ready for those holidays because they are coming quickly. My goodness. We are 1 week away. Hope you're taking care of all those things you need to get done before the holidays. I hope you, your family, your friends, you're all staying strong and you are all staying healthy right now. We are glad to have you here with us today. And you know what? I don't know how your week's going. I know this time of year is stressful. I know this time of year can be difficult, but I just bet that your week is going a little bit better than Marshall University's. If you have listened to The Dose for very long, you know that I complain about the NCAA transfer portal quite a bit here on The Dose because the timing of it is insane. Forget the fact that they're allowing these college athletes to just transfer every single day if they want to. Never mind that. The timing of it is just stupid. It opens right when bowl season begins. That makes no sense whatsoever. Let me explain why. The Marshall football team actually won their Sun Belt Championship earlier this month. That gave them 9 wins on the year. Marshall doesn't win 9 games in a year. Marshall barely wins 9 games in a decade. And so Marshall was awarded with the Independence Bowl. They were scheduled to play Army on December 28th. Will the Marshall Thundering Herd have pulled out of that bowl game matchup? Do you know why? Because they don't have enough players to play the game. The decision was made due to Marshall, they say, falling below the roster minimum that was deemed medically safe. Again, do you know why? Because despite winning that first ever Sun Belt Conference title, the school opted not to renew their head coach, Charles Huff. And he has since accepted the head coaching job with their rival, Southern Mississippi. When that news went public, the transfer portal opened, and at least 25 kids from Marshall transferred out. Now, the Independence Bowl had to scramble to find an opponent. They actually took Louisiana Tech to fill Marshall's spot. Louisiana Tech went 5-7, and they're getting a bowl game. Do you think maybe the NCAA needs to look at, I don't know, changing the date on that transfer portal opening? I mean, this is idiotic. Or, hear me out, maybe we need to have a few bowl games just completely canceled. And I'm not talking about the Independence Bowl with Marshall. I'm talking like the Rose Bowl or the Peach Bowl or the Sugar Bowl. I'm talking about a big one. Maybe we need to have something like that get blown up, and then the NCAA will go, oh, you know what? Maybe we need to change that date. This is absolutely insane. So like I said, maybe you're having a rough week this week. It can be stressful this time of year. It can be difficult this time of year, but I bet you're having a better week than Marshall is this year. Hey, today on the show, we've got something extra special for you because, yes, we are going to be talking a lot of college football. We are going to be joined by the president of the Daily Dose I-Team. Yes, I am talking about Big Rob. And we are going to be previewing that college football playoff that begins this Friday night. And we are going to be rolling all the way through and predicting who is going to be making the national championship. There are 4 first-round games this week, 1 on Friday and 3 on Saturday. And one thing I do want to say is they are now predicting snow for 3 of those 4 games. Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State say they are expecting snow, and it could be significant, which is actually something that Rob and I did not know when we recorded this. But we have a lot to get to today, so we better jump in right now. Joining us this week on the Daily Dose, a longtime friend of the show, and of course the acting president of that Daily Dose I-Team that finds the stories, gets the information that no one else can get. Big Rob is here to help us preview the very first 12-team college football playoff that will actually kick off this Friday night. It is going to be rolling through this weekend, this round through Saturday. And then the second round is going to be on New Year's Eve. We're just going to keep going. He's going to keep getting better. Rob, we have been hoping for a college football playoff for like ever. And here we are. And I can't wait.
I agree. It's finally here. We've got a playoff. There are some flaws in it. We'll get to that. But the playoff is here. And before we get into it, real quick, I know I'm a week late, but I want to say congratulations on 10 years. I can't believe it's been that long. But again, that's super dope. Congratulations, and looking forward to another 10.
Well, I appreciate that. And I will say this publicly, but I will say this to you. You have been a big part of it. You literally have been involved with the Daily Dose since the radio station days, since the old school coming on with the commercials about dabs and holy cow. You have been here from the beginning. So 10 years is also, you are very involved in that. So I appreciate all that you've contributed to the Dose. Rob, before we dig into those playoff games, got a few things I want to discuss and a couple stories that we've got to touch on at least a little bit. First up, we got to talk about Chapel Bill. North Carolina has made a huge splash in the world of college football. They have hired 72-year-old Bill Belichick as their new head football coach. Remember, they wanted to get rid of that old man, Mac Brown, so they brought in young, spry Bill Belichick. I mean, they bring in one of the most prestigious coaches ever, and it's a big thing for the Tar Heels because they've never had anything in football. But they also have hired a coach with no prior head coaching experience at the college level. It's kind of risky. And I know that they're probably looking at it as, hey, this is a home run. This is a real deal. And to be fair, college football right now probably is as close as it's ever been to being pro football, right? But Bill's not a warm and fuzzy coach. Is this going to go well with college kids?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It could go either way, like you said. Since it's moving closer to a pro model, I can see why they did it. This is a guy, so if he has full control, he can make all those decisions. So in theory, that makes sense. But then again, Bill Belichick, the last couple years might not have been as good as evaluating talent. And then again, those kids that are playing for him now, I mean, how many of them respect him that much, or not respect? I mean, obviously it's Bill Belichick, but they don't really know the history behind him, and it just seems like a different kind of culture. Well, and it seems weird to me because, and I've heard that he had reached out to the Jets, tested the waters, and the Jets said they weren't interested. Again, he's 72 years old. He's going to want a lot of power, probably things the Jets weren't really willing to do. But I kind of thought he'd want to catch Don Shula. I mean, he was close. I thought he might do that. Now he's going to deal with 18-year-old entitled morons. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm kind of fascinated to watch. Same, yeah. I'm interested to see. Like I said, I can't imagine he's dealing with them directly. He's probably hired someone for that, right? Has to. But we'll see. We will see. The interesting part, and maybe the positive too, is his wife is right in that same age group. So, I mean, he's used to dealing with her every day. So how different could this be for him? He's already dealing with teenagers.
every single night when he goes home. Maybe this is just more of the same, right? I don't know if it's going to be that big of a change in that regard. He was always such a do it my way or get out kind of coach. I don't know how this works, but maybe it's just kind of the Deion Sanders thing of, hey, I can make you. You can either get on board with me because I can make you, or you can go somewhere else and not go to the NFL. Maybe that's what they're counting on. I don't know.
Yeah, and then if there is a place for that, I mean, it is college where it's just do exactly what I say. You know, you don't have I was going to say you don't have the big contracts, but then with NIL, you kind of do. Yeah, so
it's different. Yeah. Well, speaking of Deion, on Saturday night, the Heisman Trophy was awarded to Colorado two-way player. We got to throw that in there because that's a really, really important part. Travis Hunter. Hunter received 552 first-place votes. He had 2,231 points to win the Heisman. Now, on offense, he had 92 catches. He had over 1,100 yards. He had 14 touchdowns. He did also have a rushing touchdown. On defense, he had 4 interceptions. He had 32 tackles. He broke up 11 passes. He did force a big fumble against Baylor, for what that's worth. He played a lot of snaps, Rob. Snaps are a big thing. We've never recorded it. I've never heard of it. I couldn't tell you who the previous winner was for most snaps in a season, but apparently Travis Hunter broke that record, whatever that record was. Now, here's my issue. Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty was the runner-up. He was about 200 points back. That was the closest margin of victory we've had since 2009. Mark Ingram beat Toby Gerhart. But Rob, it's starting to feel more and more every year like the Heisman is just turning more popularity contest than truly most deserving candidate. I don't get it. Jeanty led the country in rushing. He had nearly 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. He is 132 yards away from breaking Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record, and I realize he did it in more games. But, Rob, how bad is this going to look if Jeanty, who is in the college football playoff, Hunter's team is not, how bad is it going to look if he breaks Sanders' record now?
Yeah, I agree. I think my favorite sign from the football season was snaps aren't stats, I think it was.
Yes, but it's true. I get it. And what Hunter did is super impressive. I'm not taking anything away from that. But I don't know, like I said, who has the most snaps in college football? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, taking nothing away from Travis Hunter, incredible player.
Yes.
Like I said, and I think you rated out top 5 cornerback. But like I said, when it comes to Jeanty, I mean, hands down by far the best running back in the country. 7.7 yards a carry. I think in like 5 of those are after contact. So, I mean, if there was ever a guy that's just hands down was the best player in college football to me, Jeanty would have got my first place vote. But again, not to take anything away from Hunter. I can understand how he got it. But like I said, for me, it would have been Jeanty.
Well, and another key difference, and I don't want it to be the only thing, but Jeanty's team is in the playoff. Hunter's team couldn't beat 2 unranked teams. And not only couldn't beat them, kind of got slapped by him. Jeanty, all he did was carry his team to the college football playoff. I don't get it. Not only that, but Rob, you sent me something on Saturday night right after, the announcement was made. Some of the Heisman voters just threw their votes away, basically. Voted for guys that voted for the quarterback at Indiana. What are you doing? How are you voting?
Yeah, the I team is broke that story. We are working on getting the Daily Dose an official vote.
Yes, we need that vote. We can fix some things.
Yeah, again, like I said, I could go, I could see either way, Jeanty or Hunter. But yeah, votes for the Indiana's quarterback and I think Penn State's tight end.
Yes.
That's Why? How do you have a vote?
Your vote has to be pulled. And maybe that's just the bottom line. We need to get to a point where we're kind of taking a look at, who's voting? Because they're clearly stupid. And I don't know how else to say it. There is either some sort of bias or you're just an idiot. I don't know. I don't know what else it can be. How in the world?
Or like you said, how closely do they follow it? Or is it, just the hype train, like the popularity.
Yes.
That's kind of what you pick up on. That's what you see on SportsCenter, or, like, again, what is your criteria? I know we'll get into the selection committee here shortly, but again, what is your criteria for, why did you vote the way you did?
Well, and I hate to single out ESPN, but ESPN has been on that Colorado train all year with Deion Sanders. I get it. It brings them views. I understand it. But I saw Kansas smack Colorado, beat them by 2-3 touchdowns, and the highlights after were Travis Hunter. What are we doing? I don't get it. I understand what ESPN is doing. I know they're trying to promote somebody that's going to get them more views or whatever, but sports is a meritocracy. You earn what you get. You don't just get handed. All right, Rob, I'm gonna get angry. I'm gonna get my blood pressure up, and my doctor says I shouldn't do that. So I'm gonna move on. We're gonna move on to something else.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It's also going to anger me, but we're going to move on. Rob, the college football playoff is now set. I'm going to roll through this very, very quickly, and we're going to count down the teams here. At number 1, we've got undefeated Oregon. Undefeated, no question, Oregon is number 1. At number 2, we've got 11-2 Georgia, who won the SEC. More about them later. Number 3, we've got Boise State. Hey, they were the highest conference winner, so they got the number 3 seed. Number 4, we got the Big 12 winner, Arizona State. At number 4. I'm going to continue. At number 5, we've got the Texas Longhorns, 11-2, but remember, both of those losses, very close losses. At number 6, we've got Penn State, also 11-2. They were the runner-up in the Big 10. Kind of crazy. They're the runner-up in the Big 10. They're clear back at 6. Number 7, we've got Notre Dame. Independent Notre Dame did not play a conference title of any kind, but they're number 7. Number 8, we've got Ohio State, also 10-2. At number 9, the Tennessee Volunteers get in, sitting at 10-2. At number 10, Indiana at 11-1 gets in. At 11, we've got Southern Methodist. The runner-up in the ACC is number 11. And at number 12, we've got the ACC champion, Clemson Tigers. Rob, I know they're trying to keep all the conferences happy. I get it. They're trying to keep everybody, everybody gets a trophy. Come on, guys. We're all winners. No, you're not. Now, this is the way it's designed, so I can't even really blame the committee, but we've got some problems with this, don't we?
I agree. For me, the biggest one is you win your conference and you get the automatic bye. I think that's kind of what kind of shakes everything up. I think,
yes,
if you win your conference, you're automatically in. I'm all for that.
I'm all for that.
But the top 4 bye, I think that's what shakes everything up and really messes this up.
It did. And you can see that when you've got, Boise, I think, was sitting around 10, 11, something like that. And they're the number 3. Arizona State, I think, is back at like 12 or 16 or something. They're the number 4. How are you getting a bye? You don't deserve a bye. Again, I'm not really blaming the committee. They're kind of doing what they had to do. And yet it's not level. It's not right. Rob, if you are seeding the playoffs, I'm going to give you, you don't have to, I don't care about conferences. If you're seeding the playoffs right now, I'm just going to let you roll through them 1 through 12. How would you seed it?
Yeah. I think you still got Oregon as number 1. I probably have to move Texas up.
Yeah.
To number 2.
Well, and let's preface that by saying Georgia is probably without their starting quarterback, Carson Beck.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reason that I think Texas actually would jump them, because that second half of that Georgia-Texas game looked very, very different. If Georgia's healthy, wonderful. Yeah, you're sitting at number 2, but you're not. It's kind of like Florida State last year. You're not healthy. So I would agree with you. I would move Texas up a little bit as well. Who would you have at number 3?
3 gets a little tougher.
Yes.
Maybe I give Ohio State 3.
Yeah.
Georgia 4. Maybe flip-flop those 2. Then you can go Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, and then everybody else that just kind of snuck in.
Yeah.
Rounds out the bottom.
Well, and it's crazy because if you're not forced to take someone from every single conference, is anyone from the Big 12 getting in? Is anyone from the ACC getting in? I don't know. I don't know who I'd take. Yeah. I don't know that I'm taking Arizona State. I'm sorry, but I saw you get beat by Cincinnati. I saw you get beat by Texas Tech. I'm not sure you're a top 12 team. I understand why they're in. I get it. Like you said, you won your conference, you can get in. Top 4 seed? A bye? Wow. And then my biggest problem with it? My biggest problem with all of it, they screwed the top teams. Oregon has a way tougher path than number 4 Texas. Way tougher. Or number 5 Texas, sorry. They have a way tougher path than number 4 Arizona State. They're going to have to go through some really tough teams. The committee, it almost feels like they outsmarted themselves. They were so smart that they screwed themselves. And you know what? I'm worried they're going to screw the Big Ten and the SEC. And guess who's going to run all this in another year or two? The Big Ten and the SEC. And everybody else is going to be on the outside looking in. I don't like how this went. They've got to rethink this.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even thinking about reseeding after the first round. Again,
excellent idea.
Oregon is the top seed. So the same way that the NFL, if you're the number 1 seed, you play the lowest remaining seed.
Lowest remaining.
But the way this shaped out is, a lot of problems with it. And like I said, my biggest one is, if you win the conference, an automatic top 4 and a bye. I think that's the main thing. If there was one thing to change, I think you got to get rid of that. And if you win your conference, you're automatically in. That's fine. But we're still ranking in order of, actual first team, through 12.
I agree. All conferences are not created equal. I'm sorry. They're just not. If they were, that would be wonderful. And everybody would get in and everyone would get their trophy. But we saw 2 conferences this year that really weren't deserving. And you can even throw Boise in there because Boise had a very impressive close loss to Oregon, but the rest of their schedule is not, as high. Mountain West is a 3 seed. That seems crazy to me. And again, they've got an easy path because of it.
Yeah, and I think some of that is just an unintended consequence of the larger conferences. Because when you have 18 teams in a conference, you can't play everybody. So you get an Indiana, Penn State schedule where you only have to play maybe 1 or 2 of the big dogs in your conference. And now at the end of the season, you've only got 2 losses, 1 loss. But again, how good are you really,
Do you change the scheduling where you've got to play 10 of your games in conference, and then you only have 2 out of conference games? Is that a better fit? And I hate to lose out of conference games because there's some great rivalries, there's some great things, but if you're going to make it balanced, shouldn't you have to at least play the big dogs in your conference?
I would think so, or even steal from basketball and do that preseason, ACC Big Ten kind of challenge to maybe get a game or 2 in there, force a good game in there. But like you said, now, just like I said, it's going to be tough because the conferences are so big. There's no way to play everyone in your conference. And so any given year, depending on the schedule, there's just the nature of the conferences. They're going to be a team that has a, softer schedule that at the end of the season only has 1 loss, which, you kind of have to get them in the playoff at that point.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I'm really hoping, we've got 1 more year of this as the current contract, as the current deal. And then I'm betting they're gonna change some things. They're gonna shake some things up.
I would think so. And this is the thing I saw. I can't remember where I saw it to give the credit for, but just an interesting idea too. I saw a NIT style bracket. So you have like the 1 through 12, that's your playoff, and then 13 through 24 also has a playoff.
Ooh, interesting.
Like the NIT. So yeah, that was also kind of interesting too. Just thinking about that, because then you have like the Alabama, Ole Miss, and all of them kind of in there too. Like I said, I don't know what you'd call it, but similar to that, the playoff and the NIT. And so, like I said, 1 through 12 is your college playoff. And then 13 through 24, you've got another playoff going on at the same time. You can eat up some of those random bowl games and, replay them for the playoffs. But that's kind of an interesting
I kind of like that. Yeah, because right now, I'm looking at some of the other bowl games, and I hate to be, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it from certain kids' perspective. It's very appealing and it's very exciting. And colleges that, maybe aren't getting, some of the exposure that some of the others get, it's exciting for them and great. And also, I don't really care about most of those games. I'm sorry, I just don't. If you had kind of that NIT, at least there'd be a little value to it, wouldn't there?
You would think so. Yeah, maybe, some teams play a little harder or there's a little more to play off. I mean, full transparency, I don't watch a lot of NIT when it comes to college basketball, but I think it could be a little bit different for football because you got the bowl games anyway. And so maybe you tune in a little bit more because it's not just a random one-off bowl game. Right. It's an actual second playoff going on. So that's kind of an interesting idea.
And you're only talking about like 24, 36 teams probably at the most. So it's not like the NIT where like, hey, not in tournament, it means you're 75 or whatever it is. So yeah, it would be a little bit different. That's kind of interesting.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right, Rob. It's time to get to the nitty gritty here. We've got to break this down. We are going to jump into each one of these playoff games. We are going to make our prediction for how they're going to go, and we are going to walk it all the way through to the national championship game. Now, I've got to preface all this by saying this. Every year, Rob and I make our picks in August. We kind of do a midseason report, in like November. And every year we totally go, I'm going to have something totally different. I'm going to purposely pick things that I know Rob won't pick. And then we get to the end and we have the exact same picks. We, again, have not discussed our picks yet. I have no idea what you picked. I know that my bracket angers me. I don't like it. And yet, we might end up having the same bracket. I don't know. But let's go ahead and dive in and see where we go. We start off this Friday night as we have an all-Indiana matchup as the number 10 Indiana Hoosiers go to South Bend to take on the number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Rob, this is an all-Indiana game. It's in South Bend. They're going to have a decent crowd. They're going to get after it a little bit. We know how they do. They're in front of touchdown Jesus and everything. But how are you seeing this game going? Who's going to come out on top on Friday night?
Give me Notre Dame. Indiana, kind of a softer schedule. They're 2 tough games. They ended up losing. I think Notre Dame, with the home field advantage, the defense and the run game, I think they find a way in the end. I think it starts out tight and they, pull it out in the second half. So give me Notre Dame in this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We saw Indiana's offense doing some really cool stuff at the beginning of the year. They're putting up these big numbers. And then they played Michigan. They played Ohio State, and their offense didn't really do anything. And I actually think Notre Dame's defense might be better than those two. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame's got a really stout defense. They're very tough up front. I really like what head coach Marcus Freeman has done. He has rebuilt Notre Dame because we always thought the same thing about Notre Dame. Hey, they're good until they play a real team. No, they're tougher now. They're a little bit better now. I'm worried about their quarterback. I'm worried about their passing, but I don't think they need to pass here. I think Notre Dame wins this. I think they can win this pretty easily. We both go Notre Dame in that first game. Let's move on to Saturday. On Saturday at noon, at least Mountain Standard Time, we have a battle of 2 teams that haven't beaten anyone in like decades. We have the number 11 SMU Mustangs going to Happy Valley to play the number 6 Penn State Nittany Lions. And like I said, the next big game, either of these teams wins is going to be the first. But Rob, who do you like? Penn State hosting SMU.
I'm getting a little crazy here. I'm going to take SMU in this one. Penn State doesn't win big games. I'm not buying them. SMU, I think the defense is tough. They can run the ball. I think I like their quarterback a little bit more than Penn State. And I think they get that, again, to talk NCAA again, that bounce. This is like the team that last one on the bubble. They're in the first 4. They win, and end up making it to the second weekend. I think this is SMU here. Everyone's saying they really shouldn't get in. Penn State doesn't impress me, so this is going to be an upset for me. Give me SMU advancing.
Gonna take the upset. I consider the upset, and I see SMU taking an early lead. I think SMU keeps this very close early on. Here's my concern for SMU. They have never seen anything like Beaver Stadium. They have not gone anywhere playing in the conference and the games that they had this year. They haven't seen anything like the nutcases back there. I'm going to take Penn State to advance, and then we're all going to say Penn State finally won a big game. They beat SMU. That'll really change the narrative, won't it? All right, so Rob's got SMU. I've got Penn State. We've got the second game on the docket on Saturday. The number 12 Clemson Tigers somehow got into this playoff. They kind of backed in even to their own championship game. And I realize that they won the ACC, but my goodness, I like their defense, but they're going to be facing a very, very tough, very talented number 5 Texas Longhorns team. And Texas is coming off their second loss of the year to Georgia. Rob, how do you see Clemson against Texas on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going Texas here. Both good defenses, like the Texas offense a little bit more. If it ends up being yours or Manning comes in, could get some controversy on that down the road. But for me, yeah, I'm gonna go Texas here. Clemson snuck in, and like I said, I don't think that offense is going to be able to move the ball against Texas.
Well, and Clemson literally got into the ACC title game because Miami tripped over their own 2 feet. They didn't even really belong there. Then they beat SMU, kind of. And so Clemson gets in as the number 12 behind the team they beat. It's bizarre. I haven't been impressed with Clemson. And you know, Rob, I picked Clemson to get into the playoff. I thought Clemson was going to be the ACC champ. I'm gonna pretend like I got this right, but it doesn't feel like I did. I feel like I really botched this because yes, they won it, sort of. So I don't like Clemson here. I don't like that offense. Dabo is kind of struggling in the modern era, at least right now. I'm going to take Texas. They have not seen anyone like Texas since they played Georgia, and we remember how that ended up. It did not go well. I think Georgia just scored again. All right, let's move on to the final game this weekend. And honestly, the game I'm looking forward to the most, the best game of the weekend to me, is going to be the number 9 Tennessee Volunteers going to Columbus to face the number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, Rob, both of these teams have been off since November 30th. I mean, they're coming up on almost 3 weeks. They haven't played a game. That makes me think these teams could start off a little bit slow. How are you seeing Tennessee against Ohio State?
Yeah, this is give me Tennessee in this one. Ohio State, I don't know where their mindset is. Obviously, they lost to Michigan during the game and after the game. And yeah, I think the Tennessee defense is tough. I think this is a tight game. I think the fans turn on them second half. They get nervous. The pressure builds up. So give me Tennessee. Ryan Day promised the boosters he would turn it around. He said he only loses to Michigan, but he's wrong. He loses to Tennessee, and he gets fired.
We've been calling he's going to get fired since August, by the way. Don't call us Johnny-come-latelys. We've been saying it since summer. I mean, now, I agree with Rob in this. I could see both teams starting off slow, and if Ohio State starts off slow, that home crowd is going to turn on them, aren't they? And that is where it's going to get scary. Mm-hmm. Because then not only are you fighting Tennessee, as talented as Tennessee is, you're fighting your own crowd. You're going to be getting booed. It might get ugly. If they lose, does Ryan Day make it off the field without getting fired? Or does he, I mean, they just come down and just go. You got to go. Like right now, you're out.
Yes. During the post game,
called out. They're literally bringing Urban Meyer up and just cutting right back in front of him. I'm taking back over, boys. Let's go to the bar. Yeah, I could easily see that happen. I believe Tennessee is highly dangerous here. I think Ohio State has to jump on top early. If they don't, like we said, fans are going to turn. I'm going to take Ohio State in a close one, and I am not going to feel good about it. I think Ryan Day is going to survive one more week. I'm not going to give him much more than that, though. But I'm going to give Ohio State a close one. Only because I don't trust Tennessee's young quarterback. He's a young kid. I realize he's not a freshman now because he's played so much, but I don't always trust him against good defenses. I saw him against teams like, Florida and some. Makes me a little bit nervous. I'll take Ohio State, but I will not feel good. Okay, let's move forward a week because now we've picked who's going to be advancing. So we're going to move to New Year's Eve, where we are going to have the first of the next round of playoff games. I have Penn State advancing to play Boise. And Rob, I believe that you have SMU advancing to play Boise.
Yes.
Okay. How do you have, who do you have coming out of SMU versus Boise?
Sticking with SMU, could be Penn State, but regardless, I got Boise State losing. I think you just stack the box here. I mean, everybody on the line, make them throw to beat you. I think it's a close game, but Boise doesn't come out on top here. So for me, I got SMU advancing again, underdog story.
Okay. We got SMU moving on. I am going to go with the team that is being completely disrespected, and that is Ashton Genty and Boise State. Remember, they did go to Oregon. They had the Ducks on the ropes, and they literally let them win that game. I'm going to pick the Boise State Broncos to move on and I have Penn State. Rob's got SMU, but I've got Boise State moving forward. All right. We move to New Year's Day, and we've got a very interesting game here. Both Rob and I have Texas advancing, which means on New Year's Day, we're going to have a Peach Bowl where we've got the number 5 Texas Longhorns facing the number 4 Arizona State Sun Devils. Rob, how is this game going to play out?
This is going to be a tight one. I'm going to go Texas again. I think Arizona State, it's all about running with Scatterbo. Yeah. But again, I think you stack the box here. I think that Texas defensive line can hold up and they get enough offense to push them through. So give me Texas advancing.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas as well. I'm not even going to say it's going to be close. I think Texas is just going to beat the mess out of Arizona State. I don't think Arizona State has seen anything talent-wise like what Texas has. And I know Texas has been beat twice this year by the same team as Georgia, but Texas is loaded everywhere. I don't think Arizona State has seen anybody like that. The Big 12 doesn't have anybody like that. So I think Texas is going to advance. We've both got Texas winning the Peach Bowl. We move to the Rose Bowl, which actually is going to look kind of bizarrely normal if it goes according to plan. I've got Ohio State moving on to face Oregon. Rob has Tennessee moving on to face Oregon. But either way, Rob, who do you have coming out on top in the Rose Bowl?
I've got it Oregon. Well rested at this point. I think they come out firing. Whoever comes out of that Tennessee-Ohio State game, I think is going to be, pretty beat up. I think that's going to be a tough game. Yeah. So the rest benefits here. So give me Oregon.
Yeah. And I'm kind of the same way. I feel like this is going to be a tough game. Maybe the rest helps. They might be a little rusty to start, but then I think you've got some guys healthy. You've got some guys back to feeling good again. And this is a neutral field game. Oregon beat Ohio State at home, but I think this is a prime example of how the committee screwed Oregon. Oregon's the number 1 team, and here they're facing Ohio State, who honestly should probably be a top 5 team in their first round game. They're facing either Tennessee or Ohio State. Is right in that. Really, that just doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to take the Ducks, and I'm going to have them advancing right here. I worry a little bit about that. I think it could be a very, very tight game, but I'm going to take Oregon as well. So we've both got Oregon advancing. Final game on New Year's Day will be the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs, and both Rob and I have number 7 Notre Dame advancing past Indiana. Now they get to face Georgia. Like we talked about a little bit before, Georgia probably isn't going to be at full strength. It doesn't sound like Carson Beck is back, and I don't loyally like Carson Beck to begin with. So I don't know. Rob, how do you see this game playing out? This is going to be what is this? The Sugar Bowl? This will be the Sugar Bowl. Who's winning the Sugar Bowl, Rob?
I'm going to go with Georgia. I think the rest helps them here. Notre Dame, tough. Both have good defenses. Notre Dame's going to want to run. I think Georgia will be able to stop the run, and they squeak by. I think this is a close game, possibly the best out of this round. But I got Georgia. Kirby Smart's been there before. So give me Georgia, figures out a way to sneak through and advance.
I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to go on the other way. So I'm going to take Notre Dame. And I can't believe I'm saying this. This doesn't make any sense to me, but it's simply because I worry about Georgia being healthy. And if they don't have a quarterback, or they've got a young quarterback in there playing, that Notre Dame defense is going to be a pain. Now, can Notre Dame pass the ball on Georgia? No. They'll have to run. They'll honestly need like a turnover probably to win this thing. But I'm going to take Notre Dame to advance, and I can't even believe That's coming out of my own mouth, but I'm going to take Notre Dame to advance.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Rob. We move forward a week. On Thursday, January 9th, we are going to have the Orange Bowl. You, I believe, have SMU advancing, and they will be playing Georgia. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Who do you have coming out on top? Georgia versus SMU.
This is where the run comes to the end. Georgia here, they've kind of figured it out. They made it past Notre Dame. SMU probably shouldn't have made it this far at this point. So Georgia advances to the final.
Okay. I have Notre Dame facing Boise State in the Orange Bowl, which would just be insane in and of itself. But I think this game would be an advantage for the Irish just because of their front, their defensive front, their offensive front. They're just better in the trenches. I think this would be a smash mouth win for Notre Dame. Now, I can see them having to throw the ball, and if they do, they're in big trouble. But if they've gotten this far, I'm going to take Notre Dame in a very close game. I won't feel good, but I've got Notre Dame advancing. Can't even believe I'm saying this. And moving on. All right, moving forward. We now have, honestly, a heavyweight fight. Because in the Cotton Bowl, Rob, both you and I have Texas versus Oregon. Is that correct?
Correct.
Which I believe we both picked to be in the championship game back when we did our midseason picks. This was the game we picked, right?
Yep, this was our final. Yep.
All right. Texas versus Oregon. Who's coming out on top, Rob?
Give me Oregon here. This is
okay.
Again, same rationale as last time. The hype train. Texas is back. They think they're ready. And I think Texas is a good team. I think this is another close game, but I just think Oregon has more talent. One less game to play. So give me Oregon advancing.
Okay. I am going to go, like I said, the committee did a horrible job. They stacked the deck against the top teams. I love what Oregon has done this year. I'm going to be cheering for Oregon if this game were to come to pass. But I think there's one team in the country that can beat Texas, and I think it's Georgia. And I don't know if Oregon can do it. And Georgia's not even fully healthy. So I don't know if they can do it again now. I think this is a thriller. I think this comes down to the final series, but I am going to take Texas to move on. So Rob, if I have this mathing in my head correct, you have got Georgia versus Oregon in the college football national championship game, right?
Correct.
Okay. I've got Notre Dame versus Texas in the national championship game. All right, we did it. We came up with a different scenario. I can't even believe we did this. But we reached the national championship game. It will be played on Monday, January 20th in Atlanta. Rob, you've got Oregon versus Georgia. Who's coming out on top here?
I'm still taking Oregon. Best team all year. Georgia, I think this is where the injuries and stuff start to catch up with them. Yeah, so give me Oregon to raise the banner. Undefeated season. You
picked Oregon at midseason, but I think didn't you pick Oregon prior to this season?
I did. I've been on Oregon.
Okay, yeah, you've been on Oregon the entire way. I was on Georgia, and then I think I picked Oregon over Texas at our midseason. But I'm gonna change everything up because now I've got Texas versus Notre Dame. It isn't that I necessarily trust either one of those teams. It's purely matchups. I just look at the matchups and I think these are better matchups for these two teams. So I have got Notre Dame facing Texas in Atlanta. I love, like I said, what head coach Marcus Freeman has done with the Irish. He's made them tougher. I think they got a very favorable draw in terms of matchups. Getting to play Indiana the first, really. But again, they haven't seen anything like what Texas has. I think Texas is just too talented. I am taking the Texas Longhorns to win the national championship. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to go ahead and Rob, honestly, I'm just hoping we get good, competitive, entertaining games, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs. Like I said, we've been wanting this for a while. No matter how it shakes out, like I said, I'm just excited for the matchups. And again, I think this is a season where no one, even Oregon, I mean, no one feels invincible. Like, I don't think there's, I can make a case just like you did. I mean, I think there's a good, probably goes five teams deep that I could make a good case for winning it all, just depending on how everything shakes up. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Well, and you bring up a really good point, because we don't know who's going to be healthy at the end of, this 3-4 games. You don't know who's going to, somebody could go down, someone could get banged up, and you never know, just, momentum and those kind of things, they can change so quickly. You look at Ohio State. Ohio State is, hey, they're going to be a shoo-in. They're going to be big, Big Ten champs. They get kicked in the teeth by Michigan. Who saw that coming? So we know it's going to be unpredictable. We talked about it, even prior to getting on, on the show here. Just who knows? It's been wildly unpredictable all season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just look at the season. Just some of those wins, the Vanderbilts out of nowhere.
Yes.
The teams, some of these have, the teams that they've lost to. Like I said, with the exception of Oregon, everyone has a loss, and some of those losses are, pretty questionable, to be honest. But that's football. Any given Sunday, and like I said, this is a new format. Nobody kind of knows how it's going to shake up, or you got nothing to base it on. This is brand new for all the teams, so
it's going to be very, very fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get a competitive playoff. I hope, like we talked about, I hope it doesn't just go chalk and we just have the favorites just pounding people. I hope we get good, competitive, entertaining games, because this should be a great playoff. I think they kind of mangled it the way they set it up, but hopefully it still provides a lot of entertainment. We get really, really fun, competitive games. Rob, the NFL is coming down the stretch. We are getting into that final playoff push. We may need to stop back by here in a few weeks, because the playoffs are coming quickly. We're going to have to preview those playoffs. And I'm looking around. You and I talked on Sunday. Detroit and Buffalo play a wild, insane game that literally came down to an onside kick. Because why do I feel like if Detroit would have got it, they still might have won the dang thing? It was just, it's unreal. I can't predict the NFL. Yes, there are some teams we know are horrible, like Tampa Bay. And there's some teams we know are good, like the Chargers. And then we saw what happened on Sunday. We don't know. It's going to be really, really fun, but we're going to have you come back in and help us get ready for those playoffs, because they are coming quickly, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we did the midseason, and a lot of things have changed for me. I'm starting to come around on the Bills a little bit. The Ravens kind of ducked down, but I think they might be, back up on the upswing again.
Agreed.
Philly might have figured it out. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
It's going to be really, really fun, and I can't wait for it. I love the fall. I love, and it's probably my favorite time of year, because you've got college football coming on, you've got NFL coming in, you've got baseball finishing up, and you get some exciting stuff there. But right around the holidays, when we've got bowl games and NFL playoff races, you've got the NHL. I think the NBA is playing. I'm not sure, but it gets really, really fun. This isn't a bad time of year. I love it right now. It's just, there's so much on right now. It's great.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's the good time of the year. Like I said, now we have playoffs for college. NFL playoffs are getting ready to start. So yeah, this is a great time of year.
Well, Rob, like I said, I genuinely appreciate all your, contributions to the Daily Dose. You've literally been here since the beginning. You've been here prior to the 10 years, before we even had that 10-year clock running. You were coming in back in the radio days. So I can't thank you enough for all the things that you contribute to this, all the inside I-team, things that you bring to the Dose. We couldn't have done any of this without you. I want to thank you very much for that. And I want to wish you a very safe and a very happy holiday season.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Hey, next week on the Dose, it is going to be Christmas Day next Wednesday, but we are actually going to release a very quick podcast specifically for Christmas Day. So be sure you stop by and check out the Dose, and be sure you let a friend know to do the same. Hey, don't forget to stop by DailyDoseSports.com, where you can check on all that we have going on over there, between articles and the podcast and the YouTube video. And don't forget, you can stop and pick up some Daily Dose gear if you need that one last present for the holidays. We have Daily Dose t-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got sweatshirts. You can pick them in whatever color that you want. Make sure that you are stopping by DailyDoseSports.com. Hey, I want to say thank you to Big Rob for all that you contribute to the Daily Dose. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening to the Daily Dose every week. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the texts. Thank you for the tweets. Thank you for going over to DailyDoseSports.com and checking out what we have going on over there every week. But more than anything, thank you for sharing the show, for sharing the videos, for sharing the articles with someone that you know. We absolutely love it when you do that. Have to say thank you to JSP. Could not do any of this without you. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week, everybody.
Ryan Day promised the boosters he would turn it around. He said he only loses to Michigan, but he's wrong. He loses to Tennessee, and he gets fired.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.